Hey everyone, welcome to the Zentangle Project Pack series. My name is Molly.
Hi, I'm Martha.
And we are featuring Project Pack number 14 today.
Woohoo! This lesson is part of Project Pack number 14, as we just said. And the theme of this project pack is all about featuring the artist within all of us and looking to draw attention to how important it is that we celebrate our creativity as individuals.
It's funny because I think we often look at certain people being creative and other people not being creative, but I think truly we all have the ability to think creatively. It's just whether or not it's been let out, right?
Whether it's been nurtured,
Yeah. And so we're looking to nurture that side of a lot of people out there and celebrate the artist within all of us. We're going to be working with the materials found in our Project Pack number 14 envelopes. We're working with a fun little journal. We're pretty far along in this project pack, so I'm sure you've seen the pages of this book already. But all of these lessons we're going to be working on can easily be modified and done with alternate materials. So please, please, please join us with whatever materials you have available to you.
So many great quotes and thoughts here that we've kind of gathered from different sources, and we hope you enjoy how they make you feel. We chose this page right here. It happens to be the end page of our Tangled Musings journal, and we thought it was kind of appropriate. Tangle your own conclusions, and that can be sort of taken in a number of ways.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a pretty powerful thought, though, to think about how we really can take control of our artistic journeys and our personal journeys. And the future is ours.
Yeah, we have to be creative about it.
We do, yeah. And I think we can start here on this page. I think it'll be pretty fun.
Absolutely. We have all these fun assembly of tools here to work on with this project. And right now I'm just going to use my pencil to get started. Graphite pencil. I'm going to start out, we have this lovely message here in the center, and Molly and I are going to work with some borders here. So I'm going to draw with my pencil the first lines to create our first border around our quote. And the only thing that we want to concentrate on here is that we try to have our border lines, our aura here, equal distant on all edges. And for me, the easiest way to do that is to start by drawing little dots in each corner for me to connect. So I just want to try to create a space that my guess is about the tip of my pencil here. So from where the black edge is to the tip, something about that far out. See my little corner dot here.
It's kind of fun how many different things you can use as measuring devices.
Yeah, I mean,
that give you a gauge. It doesn't have to be
yeah,
exact.
I'm just being rough, and it's a pencil, so it ends up to disappear. And I can even sort of eyeball it over here. And actually, the beauty of this process is it's not truly measured out. It is hand drawn. And that's what's going to give your art its soft and elegant finish. So I'm just going to connect my dots here very lightly with my pencil. Not being concerned with perfection, but with owning my lines that I've just put down. So I'm putting my pencil down, and I'm going to pick up my beautiful gray jelly roll. So this border here, I'm going to start by breaking it up into segments, or to create, I guess, a reticula, you would say. And what I'm going to do is at each corner, I'm going to draw a band of lines like this. And especially with this ink, I am going to turn my book as I work so that I don't smudge my ink. Takes
Yeah,
just a few minutes
it is
to
wet
dry.
for a little
Yeah.
bit.
And then I will do the other corners here. And from here, I'm going to eyeball how I'm going to break up the next space. So here I think I can just add one more set of bands to divide that up somewhat equally. And yours may be slightly a larger border or even smaller, so you'll have to figure that out on what you have. And I think in this span, well, what do you think?
Do one in the middle, yeah.
Yeah. I think I'll do one in the middle. And then one here. So cutting the space in half and then in half again. It's already looking kind of pretty, you know, you just, once you make those initial marks, you get some confidence on keeping going and not worrying about being that first mark on the paper. So each segment space here, I'm going to draw essentially an X, but I'm going to use this same series of lines, these orbed lines. So from one corner to the next, and then when I draw this X, this side of the X, I'm going to draw this set of lines behind the lines that I just drew. See that? And around we go. We're going to go around this border, corner to corner, and then the second set of lines goes behind the first. I'm adding a somewhat of a little curve as these lines hit the edges. You can see that. Perhaps you draw all of your boards going in one direction, and then you can go back. I actually like playing around with the different rhythms that you can get in. Sometimes it's more of a surprise when you do it all one stroke and then the other. And here's this last little puzzle piece here. So now we have this sort of lattice looking border going on, and I thought I'd add a little bit more ink to this border. So imagine, if you will, there was an orb that lived behind this X of boards, and so by drawing an arc in each one of these corners, we can give the illusion that there is this floating orb in the background. And then if you want, you can take it one further and add an aura around like that. So we're going to carry that on throughout each one of these sections. And if you have the primer, our primer volume 1. I believe this is number S5 in the key. You can look at that fragment up. It's
Similar,
a variation
yeah.
of
Variation
that.
of that one.
Yeah. Working with the concept of reticula and fragments it's such a opportunity for endless ideas, and making just a subtle change can give you a completely new outcome. Remembering to breathe and to take a moment to just kind of admire your work as you go and appreciate what you've done so far and what work to be done there is. Again, maybe you fill in all of your background orbs and then you do your auras, or you add your auras as you go. This entire fragment experience that we're doing right now is actually just an exercise in aura, really. Paying attention to the aura spaces between the boards and between our filled in orbs. And it's just appreciating line strokes and subtleties that change your art, really. So Molly's gonna jump in now and add another layer to this. Okay, I am going to put another border in here, and I'm going to use another fragment. And I am going to do basically 2 more borders to create one border, basically 2 layers. Well, here we go. This is what I mean. I'm going to, and I'm just using my pen, but if you'd rather use a pencil first, that's fine. But I'm going to try to make it about the same distance fatness that this previous one is. So I'm going to put a dot right here, dot right here. And if you liked Martha's trick with the pencil, you can use that one again. That was a pretty good one. One right there, one right there. And these don't have to be perfect. And in fact, I think if they have a little wonkiness, that makes it a little more exciting. I didn't quite meet it, okay. And I think I'm actually going to go back and redefine this line to strengthen my border as well. I like what Martha did here. It's a nice border.
Thanks.
It will complement what we're about to do. A lot of line work, so I think this will be good. So I'm going to make another border here that's about the same width. So I'm going to do the same thing. Again, being careful not to rub your hand over the jelly roll, because it does stay a little inky for a bit. So we have 2 borders here that we're going to fill with all one fragment to make kind of a double layer. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to extend these lines to create my first. Turn my tile and extend them in the other direction. And now I'm going to try to divide these up into some squares that are about the same size as these ones. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in the middle and then divide these into 2. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can just continue those lines on. Do the same here. one's a little funky, but. I did those ones per row, but I mean, I think at this point we can do both. It depends on how you like to do it. But basically, any way you can create a grid. I think I can do 2 here. You need to look at yours and just space it out because it might not be the same as mine. Whatever works for you to create a grid. And I just like to piece it out like that, but you might find a different way to do it. It's all gonna even out in the wash, but basically you just want a grid shape and you want it to be 2 layers. So the next thing we're gonna do is I am going to divide up all these squares into triangles, more or less, but I'm gonna work in 4s, okay? So you can see what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna take 4 squares and I'm gonna put an X right through those 4 squares. And I'm just gonna work on those 4 squares right now. I'm gonna put my fragments right in them. And what I wanna do is put a dot right in the center of each one of those triangles that I just created. And then I'm going to simply connect the dots to the corners of the triangle. And to me, to breaking it down into working in these little chunks, it adds a nice kind of rhythm and I don't get so lost. But everybody has a different kind of approach. And then you get this kind of cool, I guess, kind of sunburst or starburst type thing. So again, I'm going to take 4 squares. I'm going to draw an X right through the center. And then I'm going to put a dot in the center of each one of these triangles. I'm going to take a deep breath. And I'm going to connect the dots to the corners of each triangle. I love this next to that other one, Martha. It looks great.
Very well matched.
Right? I believe, Martha, what's fragment did you say this was?
Oh, right. D1, I think, in the primer volume 1.
Yeah, if you take a look at our fragments and reticula page, you'll see.
Yeah, we have a square fragment key and we have a triangular 3-sided fragment key and a circle fragment key.
So depending on how you marked out your things, you might not end up with an even 4 and you can just modify it. But the way I did mine, I can work in 4s. And the reason I do this is because if I try to just put all the diagonal lines in and then I put the dots in, it kind of dizzies me. And this way I can just focus on this little section and get my dots in there, connect my lines, and then move on to the next one. I also think by kind of breaking down and drawing the grid the way we did, you get a little more character. It doesn't look so rigid. And I kind of like the gentle, almost animation you get when you draw like this. Feel free to turn your little book as you draw. This is a nice meditation drawing with these fragments. So I'm just finishing up here. I'm gonna do my last square. And as I said, your squares might end up different than mine, and that's fine. I just like to meter out a way to divide it up. And I've found with this particular fragment, I like to do it in groups of 4. But you might find a different way. It's a very simple fragment, but it has these just beautiful results that come out. I love this gorgeous border series here. Looking so great. I am going to pick up my graphite pencil now and add another tone of dimension. I love this quote here and I really want it to kind of pop on this page. So I'm going to add a pretty heavy layer of graphite around this square, making sure that I use the point of my pencil to sort of point towards the edge that I wish to stay true to. And then with my tortillon, I'm gonna soften those graphite fibers, and it almost makes it darker. It's kind of an interesting thing that when you coax it into the paper, you get this lovely effect. Then for this outer border that Molly has done, I'm actually going to add graphite along both inner edges. So I was careful to make sure to leave some white space in that first border row. The light helping to emphasize the dark. And then finally, I will do this inner edge. And I am being mindful of the side of my hand, trying not to disrupt what I've already done. You'll notice how you can build up quite a bit of residual graphite on your tortillon, and you can play around with that a little, adding subtler tones of graphite here and there without having to add any more with your pencils. As with my pencil, I am working on the side of my tortillon, trying to help preserve that tip as long as I can. That makes such a difference, doesn't it?
So fun.
Unbelievable.
Love it.
So Molly's gonna come in and just add some final fun little touches to our conclusion. I'm gonna add two more sort of final details, which I think kind of add a little bit of oomph to this. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my black pen, my Micron, and I'm going to retrace this line here in the middle just to kind of add a little bit of punch. This line has kind of got some variation to it, and I don't know if you notice, I'm kind of like playing around with my pressure here, going a little harder at times to make the line not so perfect and have a little bit of interest to it. So I'm kind of pressing harder and then lightening up. See that difference there? Isn't that nice? And I do this at the end because I don't want the graphite to kind of lessen its blackness. It's a nice, sharp shadow.
A sharp shadow?
A sharp shadow. Cleans it up. Love that. Pow. Then I'm going to do that on the outside as well. I'm going to go right over. Again, I'm playing with these PNs are great because you can play around with the pen weight a little bit more because the tip can really handle the pressure. So kind of go really light and then press a little harder. Love that. All right, and I'm going to add one more fun detail. I am going to take my green jelly roll here, and do you see where all these little kind of stars come together? I'm just going to put a nice dot right in the middle there, just for fun. Fun palette with the gray and the black and the green. Well, that looks quite nice, Miss Martha.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I love it.
I love that subtle green dot.
Yeah, fun stuff. So my friends, we encourage you all to tangle your own conclusions and look for beautiful things on your journey and continue to share all your creativity and your artistry with everyone you can, and believe in yourself and all that fun, good stuff. Thanks for joining along.
Thanks for tangling with us.
Bye-bye.
Bye.